Hi everyone, Virtual Ninja here, giving you guys another top 5 list. Today we're going to be discussing the top 5 forgotten Yu-Gi-Oh cards for the January 2018 ban list. There's been a lot of predictions as to what will get hit on the next ban list, but I feel that there are also a lot of cards that people are forgetting to consider when determining what will or will not get hit by Konami. So, I'd like to discuss just a few of these cards that haven't really been talked about all that much in other ban list prediction videos. If you end up enjoying this, be sure to share this video with your friends, and subscribe so that you can show your support for this type of high quality Yu-Gi-Oh content. So, let's skip introductions and get right into the list. At number 5, Spiral Master Plan. Now, Spiral Master Plan has been getting some discussion from the Yu-Gi-Oh community, but not really that much compared to some other cards in the Spiral deck. Most particularly, people are talking about Spiral Resort, the field spell. Now, while Spiral Resort is definitely an issue, Master Plan is really what is causing Spirals to be so broken, as Master Plan is the main target for Double Helix. Spiral Master Plan and Spiral Double Helix is what really starts the combos and starts making all these crazy boards for Spirals. And it's particularly because Spiral Master Plan searches for so many cards, especially after using it as link material for the Decode Talker or other Link 3 in the combo. So, because Spiral Master Plan searches for so much, they're able to continue gaining all those resources, and that's why you see crazy videos like that, Farfa, right? I can't call him Glasgow Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. I'll get sued. Farfa, when he was on stream and he saw the Spiral player get evenly matched or whatever, and he was like, "How is he still +1? How is he still +1? I am European!" So, basically, Spiral Master Plan is what starts all these crazy combos and boards, so why would you want to hit the field spell of the deck? Spiral Resort is what makes the deck playable, it's just what makes the deck, work in the first place. Spiral Master Plan was never used before Double Helix because, in the end, she's level 7. She's basically impossible to get out. So if you just ban Spiral Master Plan, the combo is basically dead, and while they can still make decent boards, they can't do anything nearly as crazy as what they're doing right now. Hitting Spiral Resort will make the deck actually unplayable because they basically won't have anything to use. Once their first Spiral Resort is negated or destroyed through a card like Ghost Ogre, they're done. However, hitting Master Plan will still make the deck playable, and while Konami of America still wants to make money in the end, gotta get that sweet hard cash and profits, they still want to make sure that Spirals would be able to be playable at least. For example, Zodiacs is still kinda playable. Not that much, but at least they didn't just ban everything. So, there's really no point in banning or limiting a card that makes a deck just playable in the first place, like Resort. So, they have to hit Master Plan because Master Plan is broken since she's easily special summonable now due to Double Helix. And since we can't ban Double Helix because he just came out and Konami of America needs to make that sweet cold money, we should just ban Master Plan instead in order to solve what actually is happening. We need to solve the issue of these crazy combos and these crazy boards, and banning Master Plan will do just that. At number 4, Imperial Order. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with my channel, I actually made a video just like this talking about the top 5 forgotten Yu-Gi-Oh cards for the September 2017 ban list. Now, most of the cards that I actually put on that list were actually changed by that ban list, but Imperial Order was one of the few cards on my list that wasn't actually changed whatsoever. It still remained at 1. And even at 1, even though it's not seeing that much play, I still wholeheartedly believe that it's just a ridiculous floodgate in theory and in practice. It negates a crucial part of literally any deck, spell cards. Even with the errata of the whole 700 life points cost during either player's turn, it really shouldn't exist because it's still way too powerful, and that 700 life point cost is really not that much given how fast our current metagame is. Imperial Order, in order to take someone from 8,000 life points to 300 life points, that's 11 turns, or technically 6 turns from the opponent's side and 5 turns from the player's side, assuming that player activates it on their opponent's turn, which they typically do. So, with Imperial Order, you basically are screwed unless you have save a Cosmic Cyclone in your hand, or save a Twin Twisters in your hand, just in case they play Imperial Order. You shouldn't have to save your back removal just in case. If you end up blind Cosmic Cycloning an Imperial Order, you basically have to scoop with a lot of the decks currently in the metagame. This is especially abused in Paleo Frogs, and I wholeheartedly believe that Paleo Frogs will definitely come back into the meta once Trickstars and Spirals are inevitably hit by this January 2018 ban list. So as a nice check to Paleo Frogs, and in order to prevent a really annoying floodgate from being splashed in decks just to cause instant scooping, we really need to put Imperial Order back to 0. Even with the errata, it's just such a powerful card that we can't afford this to even have it floating around and be a potential option in our current metagame. At number 3, Qliphort Scout. Now, Qlis in general are literally doing nothing in the TCG. You probably didn't even remember before this video that Qlis were a thing. You probably just remember them as that whole Yugi Nona meme about paying 800 or something. They aren't really doing much in OCG either, even after the Link Vrains pack, where Qliphort Genius, the new Qliphort Link monster, was released in Japan and other OCG regions. That's because Qlis really can't do much right now in the current metagame. They're a Floodgate deck, they're a stun deck, but they aren't as strong as some of the other options, and they simply just pale in comparison to decks like Trickstars and Spirals. So, with the Qli Link monster announced in the OCG, hopefully when Qlis come to the TCG, we can have Scout come back so they can bring back the deck. That way the deck is still a viable option for rogue players and budget players who want to play a fun little stun deck that definitely doesn't take much skill. Qlis are definitely a simple and fun Floodgate deck, but it was also definitely a helmet deck. Anyone who argues otherwise is definitely stupid. Now you have to remember one other key thing when considering whether or not Qliphort Scout should come back to 2 or 3. We have no Apocryphort Towers in TCG. So that was the main boss monster with Qliphorts, and with Qliphort Scout coming back, the deck will not be as insanely ridiculous as it once was because it won't be able to spam Towers over and over again. And that's because Towers is probably going to stay banned for quite a while. So if Towers is going to stay at 0, Qliphort Scout should definitely come back to 3. At number 2, Droll and Lockbird. Now, obviously, this card is on this list due to the Trickstar reincarnation and Droll and Lockbird combo. And as a Trickstar player, I completely agree that this combo is degenerate and should just never exist in the first place. However, a lot of people are saying that they should hit Trickstar reincarnation because that's what happened in the OCG. However, hitting reincarnation would really hurt the Trickstar deck a lot, and we've seen that in the OCG. A lot of people in the TCG are pointing out alternative cards like Disturbance Strategy and Present Card, and people are saying that people can just play that instead. However, the difference between Trickstar Reincarnation and cards like Disturbance Strategy is that Disturbance Strategy and Present Card are not searchable, which makes the deck much more inconsistent if Reincarnation is at 1. If you only have one Reincarnation, Trickstars can't really rely on the burn mechanic that they're supposed to be using. Rather, Trickstars would turn into some garbage Link 2 spam deck that nobody would want to play. And considering how Trickstars are very popular in Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, Konami of America and Konami in general would really not want Trickstars to fade like that. Plus, since Konami is announcing new Trickstar cards for the OCG, I'm very doubtful that Konami of America, considering how greedy they can be, would want to hit Trickstars in the lands of America. And Europe too, I guess. Hi Europeans. I think there's maybe 2 people who actually watch this from Italy or something. Also, another big thing is that Droll and Lockbird, unlike Ash Blossom, has no counterplay. A lot of people draw comparisons from Ash Blossom and Droll and Lockbird, and you can bait out an Ash Blossom. If you don't want someone to play Ash Blossom on your desires, you can bait them with something like a Candina or a Terraforming, for example. However, you can't bait out a Droll and Lockbird. You can only make them activated earlier. Any search is still a search. If you want to bait out a Droll and Lockbird, you're basically just saying, I'm going to search for one really good card, and then afterwards I won't be able to search for the rest of the entire turn. Droll and Lockbird promotes a very cancerous metagame, where your opponent can just stop your turn because you're trying to just play the game. You should not have to stop your turn simply because you're trying to search and play the game. And there's no way to stop Droll and Lockbird without a card like Psyframe Gear Gamma. And we should not have to, in 2017 or in 2018 during this ban list, have to main deck Psyframe Gear Gamma out of nowhere in case we have no monsters on our field, are going first, and would like to search. That's just ridiculous. So, Droll should honestly be banned because it is just a much worse version of Ash Blossom due to the lack of counterplay, due to the fact that there's no way to bait Droll and Lockbird. Banning it would also stop the degenerate reincarnation combo for good, which everyone, including me, wants to die off. Trickstar should be a burn deck, not an FTK deck, and Droll and Lockbird makes it the powerful FTK deck that people fear. At number 1, Draco Faceoff. Nobody even plays the Draco Slayer cards anymore. Not even Luster Pendulum is splashed in Pendulum Magicians because, to be honest, Luster Pendulum is kind of inefficient and its scale can be a bit awkward being 5. The Draco Slayers are way too slow to make an individual impact nowadays, and semi-limiting or even unlimiting Draco Faceoff would provide a nice, kind of spicy option for budget Pendulum Magician players who want something that will make the Draco Slayers at least somewhat useful to them. However, even then, I'm kind of doubtful it'll see any type of play, because you want to have both of your zones available to you in order to use all your Pendulum Magician pop effects instead of one. And since sometimes you may want to end up putting Vector or Luster into your Pendulum zone, you're kind of wasting your space there. Speaking of that whole revealing part of Draco Faceoff, the randomness of Draco Faceoff can also be a bit risky. You really don't want your opponent to choose Vector because at that point you just have a level 4 vanilla there. You want them to choose Luster so you can at least get that out there into your Pendulum zone. And even then, Luster's still a bit underwhelming nowadays. So it's clear that at most, this card will be played every now and then as part of an engine in Pendulum Magicians to just get another monster on the board. However, at worst, it will really make no impact in the metagame whatsoever. So there's no reason this card should still stay at 1 on this list. So hopefully this list will have given you some food for thought as to what the January 2018 ban list will look like. Hopefully the ban list will usher in a new year of Yu-Gi-Oh! By bringing back some cards and hitting some of the real problem makers in the current metagame. However, if you feel that there were some other cards I should have talked about in this list, some cards that other YouTubers really aren't talking about, please leave them in the comments below so we can all try together and figure out what may or may not happen on the upcoming ban list. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like it and share it with your friends. Be sure to subscribe to and hit that bell so you can get notifications for any and all future videos I post. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.